Kevin is going to replace this faucet on our sink. You cannot control the temperature with the two handles. It will boil your fingers. So he bought a new faucet at Lowe's. This is the new faucet that he'll install, and you see it has one handle, so this will make things much easier.
The first thing I do is turn the water off. And these are old valves. I probably should have replaced them, honestly, but that's all the cold water that's on there. That's it. Huh, that's interesting. Okay.
Maybe that's why we always burn our hands.
The valve just didn't, I mean, it's all there was. It's either on or off. Alright, try to turn the valve off. It didn't turn off all the way. There was still some hot water coming out. So luckily they put a shutoff valve at the hot water heater. So I turned that valve off and then ran in the bathroom and in here and just released the pressure off there. Once I get done, I'll turn it back on at the hot water heater and it'll be pressurized again. So now I'm going to unscrew the lines on the bottom to take the water off. And make sure you have a bowl where you can put the water in. Alright, I'm going to take this sprayer hose. It always comes bundled in a really tight coil. So I always like to undo the stupid thing and try to stretch it out to where it's not kinked up in a circle so it'll actually work in here. And if you notice, this faucet, it comes with the hoses already built in. And if they're long enough for your sink, that's fine. If they'll go all the way to where your connection points are, and probably most modern plumbing it would, but since this is old and the faucets are actually in the floor, I had to get some extenders that were actually about 10 inches too short. So I got the shortest ones I have, which were 12s, the closest thing to 10. I figured a little bit extra would be better. And Lowe's quit selling the adapters in one cable, so I had to actually buy the hoses, and then I had to buy these fittings that will actually go between the two. So one end's a compression fitting and the other end's just the regular the screw-on type. So I have to put these on here just to connect the two together. Now I'm going to take the cold supply line off, and it shut off fine at the valve. So. And it will leak, so get your bowl ready. Nope, that one didn't leak at all. Cool. And then I must undo the hose at the top. I might have to get Tammy to push down on the sink while I unscrew these. That one is pretty loose, but can you go up and push down on this side of the sink?
Yeah.
There's two black things right here and here that hold the faucet down. Well, you have to put them on pretty tight, and then they get locked in. So I'm going to get you to have to hold the faucet so it won't fall down.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, see these black things? Yeah. So I'm going to unscrew them, but you got to hold on to the faucet because it'll fall into the sink.
Okay. Now we're going to get the putty knife and scrape all of this goo off. It's really gross looking under there. I'm sure everyone's sink looks like this underneath.
It's dirt for the most part, but they didn't put any. Okay, one reason we had a little leak underneath the sink when you would use, especially the sprayer. Now I know why it leaked. There's no putty, no plumber's putty under here at all. They should have put, whoever did this, should have put a snake, like a little snake roll of plumber's putty all the way around this. So water wouldn't come through the sink when you turn the water on. You splash water up there, and it goes down through the holes if you don't have any plumber's putty on there. So when I do it, I'll make sure I put putty on here. Now some sinks don't require it, but this one, yeah, there's no rubber seal on the bottom of that. So So this one should have had a little ring of plumber's putty on there. Well, I'm going to finish cleaning this up, and then I'll show you what it looks like when I get done. Okay, I'm just getting things ready. Taking the base plate off to where I can put the putty around there and line it up. Taking this nut off the bottom of this so I can get it all lined up. I'm not going to use this part just yet, so I'm going to lay it aside. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some plumber's putty. And see this groove around this whole piece right here? Well, that's where the plumber's putty goes. And it clearly says on the directions, and Tammy will take the video over there, it clearly says in the directions to put plumber's putty in there. Plumber's putty, and that's what it looks like. If you get it out, just a ball of it, and you kind of make it into like a snake when you were a kid. It's probably too big. It doesn't need to be very big. You just go all the way around this groove. But I want a really good seal around there. Like I said, you don't want it too thick on there, but you do want it to cover the little groove. And the deal is, this won't ever get hard. It will always be a soft seal to keep the water from running underneath your sink. And this one is the stainless kind. Alright, and it says front on there. I don't know why that makes a difference, but it does say front on the little plastic piece there, so I'm going to make sure I line that up on the front. And right now I'm just going to kind of lay it down to where it's pretty close to over the hole. And then once I actually get it and tighten it down, it'll pull all that down into it and set it. I've got my plastic piece there. I'm just making sure I've got enough putty. I want to make sure I'm covered good when it pulls down. It looks pretty good. I'm going to lay this metal piece back on there. So now what I'm going to do is take my faucet, and it's got these notches on the side right here. So when you slide all this down through the hole, make sure you line those notches up on the sink. And you'll feel it. There you go. And you kind of saw where it popped in place. Now I'm going to have to get Tammy to sit here and hold this while I go tighten a bolt up underneath. Here's the mounting bracket for the sink, and what I've done is you slide this metal U-shaped piece right here up on this brass post, and then you tighten this nut up and to where it's tight. It also comes with this little tool to make sure you can go over that brass piece. You can also see underneath these pieces right here. I'm going to make sure I get those good and lined up with the holes in there to make sure that it's good and square. After an adventure having to go to Lowe's, I got this part. Hold on. I got this metal part, the chrome part, but I didn't get this nut right here that holds it on. So luckily Lowe's was open, so I had to go to Lowe's and get another one. And they gave me this piece again, and what I had to do is go get a box, and they just defected that, and they gave me this piece. So now I'm going to take this, put plumber's putty around here, because I don't want water to leak underneath it through the hole. I'll put plumber's putty in this, put it in the hole, and then I'm going to tighten this nut underneath of it and hold it in place. This is where the spray handle goes. The plumber's putty on here. And when you push this on, when it tighten it up, you're going to squish the plumber's putty out, just like over here on the sink. You can see I squished some of it out. What I'll have to do is you just get your finger and pull it off, or get a paper towel and wipe it off. But it comes right off with your finger. It doesn't take no time. And I just usually throw it away, what little bit comes off. But when I tighten that up, you'll get it coming out. We'll clean it up real good, and then I'll install the spray nozzle. All right, I've taken all these extra parts that I don't need. I don't need these pieces right here. All I'm really doing is going from the larger size to the smaller size. The ones that came with the sink are the small compression fittings, so those will go on there. And I'll get my crescent wrenches and tighten it up really good. And then these, my little extent, so you can see they're not long enough to reach down to the floor, but these will make it long enough to reach all the way down to the floor. So I'm going to put these on. Actually, I'm going to tighten this one up first, and then I will then I'll tighten the other one up. I'm looking for my small crescent wrench. Okay, my crescent wrench is here. And you don't have to tighten these up super tight anyway. You just want them just snug. You don't have to really crank down on them. Just yeah, that's plenty tight enough. Marked cold, so I want to make sure I hook that up to my cold line. But these, you can see these are just finger tight connections. You don't have to really crank down those at all. You just do them with your hands. But this is the cold line, and I know my cold line is on the right hand side, so I'm just going to tighten it up. Make sure you don't cross thread them because they are they'll have some pressure on them from the water. Just get them finger tight. This worked out perfect, the size ones did. And we'll be able to turn the water back on here in just a minute. Make sure we don't have any leaks. I'm assuming this black foam is to keep air from coming up through underneath the house, but I don't know how well that works. Okay, my assistant Tammy turned the water on full force and blew water all over me. But you're supposed to flush this out for a minute just to clean out the lines. But don't turn the water on all the way next time.
How long do you have to do it?
You can turn it off now. Hold on.
What are you doing now?
Turn the hot water on. Okay, very slowly turn the hot water. Yep.
You want me to keep it going?
Yeah, just on hot. Push towards the left. You can turn it on a little bit when you have to. Now we're flushing the lines again. This is just the hot water.
And I turned the hot water heater on.
Yeah. Yeah, we turn the hot water heater on to pressurize it again, and then now I'm just letting the hot water run out to flush the lines, get all the dirt and crud and stuff like that out of the lines. Okay. Okay, I'm checking for leaks. I don't see anything. Everything looks really good and dry up through here. There's no water down at the bottom. And you can just feel with your hands. You can tell if it's wet with your hand. Everything's good and dry. So we'll go on to the next step. I'm going to install this water diverter. This is for your spray nozzle. And I've never seen one like this before, but I guess it's a safety feature or something. But you basically just push these on, and they're pretty cool. When you want to release them, you just push it and they snap off. So do the shortest one first. Until it snaps, and you take this one and you push it down until it snaps. I'm going to put this spray nozzle down through the hole. Yeah. And we'll hook it up. Like I said, it's really a pain in the butt because it wants to curl up, but I'll straighten it up the best I can. And you just slide it in this until it snaps. And guess what? We are done.
We're done?
We're done. We'll clean up and that's it. Hot water, cold water, cold water. And the sprayer actually sprays.
Yay for Kevin!
Okay. This makes the fourth one I put in, so it's not that hard.